So he said, I'm continuing on, he said, I was set upon the mountain of the congregation in the sides of the north, that's what he's doing over here in the sides of the north, which is North America. So-called white man is sitting over here as the head of the world. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. He said he's going to ascend above the heights of the clouds, which he did that. That's his space station up there. You know, they had a race to the moon. That's what these Edomites did. You know, that's what Satan did, or Lucifer did, or the devil did, which is the so-called white man. It's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Who sent themselves above the clouds? That was Russia, and America had the race to the moon. All right? He says, verse 14, Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So he said he's going to be like Yahweh. That's why he gave you that white image of Caesar Borgia, who you call Jesus. That's not the son of Yahweh. You know, Yahweh Shah is his name, and he's a so-called black man. He would have been from the tribe of Judah, so he'd been a so-called African American today. He'd have been darker than most of us, because the Bible says it looked like he stepped out of a burning oven. He was already bronze, looked like he stepped out of a burning oven. That's a dark, dark brown. Look at your feet and look at your face. Your feet the same color as your face. All right. Let me see. We keep going. He says, how far did I go with this? Let me see. Let's go get let's go to Ezekiel 28:2 right quick. Hold on. Let me see what this is. I'm going to keep going. Let me see if I should read this precept right quick. 28. Let's see if I should read this precept. Okay, now I'm not going to read that yet. Let's keep going. Isaiah 14:15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So the Most High said, but they're going to be brought down to hell. See, they exalted themselves into heaven, but now they're about to be brought down to hell into the sides of the pits. That's the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite. That's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan when it's talking about Lucifer. It's talking about the so-called white man, the light bearer. That means those who have the knowledge today, which would be your Illuminati, which would be your Rothschilds and your Barmenbergers, whatever you call them, man. You know, your J.P. Morgans, man. All these 13 Jewish families, the richest men, the so-called richest people on the planet of the earth right now. All right. And so I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Yet," verse 15, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." So, cause they're in their heaven right now, but when Yahweh shall return, they're gonna be in hell. They're gonna be where we at. And we going into rulership, we going back into heaven. Because we are those righteous angels. And they are the evil angels. We are the right-hand side angels. They the left-hand side angels. They the wicked. And we are the righteous. All right? And that's why the Bible said that the last should be first. And the first should be last. Because they first right now, but they're going to be last. They in heaven, they going to hell. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Ezekiel now. Matter of fact, let's go to Ezekiel. We get this precept in Ezekiel 28:2. And it reads, Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus said Yahweh, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am Yahweh. I sat in the seat of power in the midst of the seas. That's where we at. We're in the midst of the seas, right? The North, United States. Yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. See, the Bible said, but yet thou art a man, thou art not God. So if this was the spiritual demon Satan, who they say got cast out of heaven with the angels, the Most High wouldn't have called him a man. He just said, but thou an evil spirit, an evil angel. No, he said, no, thou art, he said, but let me read it again. He said, says, yet thou art a man, not God, or not an angel, or not power. Y'all get that? The Most High is calling this Lucifer, this Satan of what you're talking about, the one that's so-called supposed to got kicked out of heaven to the earth. When we realized, we went to the scripture, Howard Shah said nobody has ascended or descended from heaven but him, John chapter 3 and 13. Let's read this again. All right, Ezekiel 28 and 2. Well, I'm going to start at 1. Ezekiel 28 and 1. The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith Yahweh, because thou heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God, I sat in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. So the Most High let them know, man, all this fictitious power, this fictitious glory, you are not the chosen people, and you're not supposed to be in heaven, and you're not me, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So he's going to cast them out of that hell into heaven, just like he did the angels, like he did us. He cast us out of rulership. He took our beauty, our inheritance, our power, and cast us down into hell, into a lower state. And he's going to do the exact same thing to the so-called white man, who y'all think the Bible is talking about the angels, thinking about, the Bible is talking about Satan and 1/3 of the angels, 2/3 of the angels getting kicked out of heaven into the earth, or 1/3 of the angels getting kicked out of heaven into the earth. See, the so-called white man brought that to you, to instill fear into you, to make you think that he's God, that he's the power of the earth, he's the creator. You know, that's all Greek mythology. When the Bible is talking about casting something out of heaven into hell or to captivity, that was talking about us, and now it's talking about us, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are the Hebrew Israelites, and now this is talking about the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite. And the Bible also said that he have angels too, Satan and his angels. It's talking about the so-called white man and his military. We're going to get into that. Let's keep going. All right, where was we at? Isaiah 14. Let's go back to Isaiah 14 and 15, I think. Isaiah 14 and 15. And it reads, Yet thou shalt be cast down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee. That means gaze at you. Narrowly means to gaze at you and look at you and be like, okay, I see you. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, listen now, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdom? Now let's go back, let's go up to 12 right quick, just so we can see who this is talking about. Let's go to Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So when the Bible is talking about Lucifer right here, this is talking about the so-called white man, that red Hebrew Edomites. Lucifer means light bearer, or like the day they call themselves what? The Illuminati. You know, that means the enlightened ones. That means they got the wisdom. They know who we are. We don't even know who we are. You know what I'm saying? They know about the ark. They know about the flood. They know about Moses parting the Red Sea. They know about Daniel in the lion's den. They know about Shadrach, Meshach, and the beauty and the bad Negro, as they say, in the burning furnace. They know about Yahweh Shai. They know about David and King Solomon. They got the wisdom. You know, they got the light. They're the enlightened ones. They know the things that we should know that we don't know, because we have fallen from our heaven into hell. So now the Most High is going to cast them out of their heaven into hell. And so we just read in Ezekiel 28:2 where it calls the same, that was calls the so-called Satan or Lucifer a man. And the Most High just called him a man again right here in Isaiah. All right, let's go back to Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? What it means by is this the man? So we're going to know, like we already know it's the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite, that is the Lucifer that the Bible's talking about. Y'all don't know. Excuse me. But people are waking up and seeing. And so that's the so-called white man now, that he's being slowly but surely cast out of his rulership. That's why you can look now and see all the homeless people now that used to be us, Negroes and Hispanics and Native Americans. Now you see more of us with homes, and now you see nothing but Edomites. These red Hebrew Edomites, so-called white men, out here as bums, sleeping on the side of roads and in the woods and behind stores. That's them being cast out of heaven. Now you see America falling, the dollar's losing value. All these nations are turning against America. Russia, China, Turkey, North Korea, Iran. I mean, you can just keep going on and on and on. Why? Because they're losing their glory. Lucifer, so-called white man, Satan, the devil, is being cast out of heaven, out of rulership into hell. Right before your eyes. But the people that's waking up, like myself and the other brothers, we're the ones that saying, oh, is this the man? Oh, so this the red Hebrew Edomite. So this the devil that the Bible talking about. The Christian church lied to me. It said that the Satan, the angel of the Most High, you know, the evil angel of the Most High, that's what you can say, but he's not an evil angel because he's obedient to the Most High. But the spiritual demon, Satan, got cast out of heaven with 1/3 of the angels. And we thought that was true, that was literal, but it wasn't. When the Bible said that Satan got cast out of heaven with the 1/3 of the angels, that means him and his people are going to get put to death. They losing their rulership. When the Bible said that the angels that lost their first state and cast into the chains of darkness, that was talking about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, you Hebrew Israelites. So the church has been lying to us. So now we gazing upon these Edomites, these red Hebrew Edomites, and like, okay, yeah, so, oh, you Satan, you the devil, you Lucifer. Oh, that's the man that shook the heavens and the earth. What it means by that? Let me see. He says, is this the man? Hold on. Let me read that again. Verse 16, Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? What it means by made the earth to tremble and did shake the kingdoms. This is that devil that was dropping these thermal atomic bombs on these nations. Look what they did to Japan. Look what they're doing to the so-called Muslims, Afghanistan and all these other places. They dropping bombs, man. Look what they did to Black Wall Street when they flew over them airplanes and dropped TNT dynamite on the only prosperous so-called black neighborhood that ever existed. What was that, in Alabama, Tusco, Oklahoma, somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Black Wall Street. Yeah, they made them shake. They were dropping bombs on top of them then. The first terrorist act on their people was America dropping TNT bombs on so-called Black Wall Street, man. That was the first terrorist that was attacking the so-called people, us. So that's what we doing now. We gazing, we waking up. Okay, this that nigga, this that man right here. This is the real nigga. Because we are not the niggas. They the real niggas. All right, let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to second, I can't even pronounce the word no more. 2 Thessalonians, I can say second Desolations. 2 Thessalonians, man. Let's get these precepts out. 2 Thessalonians. We're going to cover this. We're going to end this thing soon, but just Hang in there with me, man. 2 Thessalonians. Man, I'm going the wrong way. I think chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And 4. And it reads, paper sticking together. That's what that rain do, man. We out here in these elements, man. Your word and turn. Papers begin to stick together, your scriptures. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Let me see. It says, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, set it in the temple of God, showed himself that he is God. And that's talking about the so-called white man, these red Hebrew Edomites. That's talking about that Lucifer that you read about in Isaiah the 14th. That's going to be cast out of heaven and into hell. Right now, you see them falling now. They are slowly but surely falling. So, and that's what that's talking about right there too, man. It says, and read it again, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself. That's that pride. The so-called white man says he's going to exalt himself above the throne of the Most High, above the heavens, the clouds. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God. So that means he exalted himself above all that is called God, and we are called after the name of the Most High, Yasha'Elah, princes of power, sons of God. So he exalted himself above the Most High and above us. So he made these so-called white people, these red Hebrew Edomites, to be the chosen people. These crackers that's over there in our land talking about they Jewish. That means, ish means, like if I say my teeth, it was yellowish. They're not yellow, but they might look like they got a yellow glaze. So they're saying that they're not Jews. They want to be Jews. They try to look like Jews. And that's why they wear black. And that's why they got them little curls on the side of their head, because they said our hair was like wool. So yeah, but they're not us. They exalted themselves above that. It says, and exalt himself above all that is called God. That means he exalted himself above us as well. Or that is worship, because they're worship. They got that white image, Caesar Borgia, that Jesus Christ that y'all worshiping, and that wicked name, Jesus Christ, y'all calling on, because his name is Yahweh Shai. So that he, as God, set it in the temple of God. That means he's sitting in all these churches, like it just said that the congregation is under him. He took over the congregation. Matter of fact, let me go back. Shoot. Man. Salakia, my people. Let me show you what it means by that. He sat in the temple. And Isaiah 14 and 13, midway, said, I will sit also upon the mountain of the congregation. That's sitting in the temple. He's going to be above all the people. So that he, as God, set it in the temple of God, showed himself that he is God. And that's the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite, Satan, which is about to be cast out of heaven. They slowly but surely being cast out. All right, let's go to let me get my phone out. Salakia. Let's go to Isaiah 47 and 8. And it reads, Therefore hear now this, thou that art giving to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am. So when he said in his heart that I am, that means he's saying that he's God. And none else beside me. So he's saying he's God and God alone, like the Most High said. I shall not set, he says, hold on. That says in thy heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. So the white man is saying that he's not going to sit as a widow. So that means he's going to always be in power, and he's not going to lose no children. So he's saying that these so-called Edomites is not going to be put to death. They're not going to be put in captivity into death, but the words say that he will be. Them and their children. Let me see. Verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. So the Most High said, in the moment and one day when these nuclear missiles hit, all these two things going to come unto you. You're going to lose power, you Edomites, you devil, you Lucifer. And you're going straight to hell. That means you're losing your power, and you're going to lose children. In one day, you're going to lose power and children. And that's when Yahweh shall return. And then when the Most High get to putting these Edomites to death, these so-called white people, Yahweh shall going to put them to death. Read it again, verse 9. Isaiah 47:9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. So the Most High said that his destruction is going to come in perfection. It's going to be perfected upon the so-called white man, upon Satan, when he cast them out of their heaven into hell. All right, let's go here. Let's go to Revelations right quick. Get a couple. I'm just getting some precepts before I end, just to verify the word, my people. Revelations 12 and 7, and it reads, "And there was war in heaven." So when he's talking about that was war in heaven, that's talking about what you can see in our atmosphere. When right now over in Syria there's war in heaven. When they shooting, you got jets shooting at each other. Planes and jets that's flying, they shooting at each other. That's war in heaven. World War II and World War I was war in heaven. They had these jets shooting at each other. All right, and it says, "And there was war in heaven," Revelations 12 and 7. "Michael and his angels fought against the dragon," which is the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite. "And the dragon fought in his angels." Verse 8, "And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven." So what he's saying right here is that the so-called the red Hebrew Edomite, the so-called white man, is the devil, the dragon, and his angels, which is be all these nations that's going to come together with him and to fight against Yahweh Shah, Michael the archangels, and the angels. They're going to be in these heavens. They show you that in Independence Day 1 and 2. They're going to be up there trying to fight against the Messiah, Yahweh Shah, and the chief angel Michael and the angels. That's that war in heaven. That's when Yahweh Shah returned. They're going to be trying to fight him up there. Why you think Donald Trump wanted his space station? Why you think Ronald Reagan, go watch Ronald Reagan's speech when he's talking about if we're invaded from an unknown source from out of the heavens. Why you think all these so-called UFOs, which we call them IFOs, these chariots of Israel, are being popped up and seen? Because the so-called white man, the devil, Lucifer, he's about to fall out of his heaven, but him and his angels, which are these other nations and his children, this other Edomites, is going to, and some of you niggers, you Hebrew Israelites, is a part of Satan's angels. That's why the Bible said that you are the children of Satan, because you're with him and you believe in him and you're fighting for him. So the Most High going to put y'all ass to death too. And this verse 8 says, "And prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven." That means their place wasn't found no more in rulership, because we're going back into rulership. We're going back into heaven. All right, let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Or Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 1 and 1. Just to let you know, man, that the reason why you have to go into the Hebrew, like when you're reading the word, man, and the so-called Old Testament, when you're reading the Old Testament, And it was written in Hebrew, so you got to go to the Hebrew to get the meaning and understanding of what you're reading. You can't get the meaning and understanding of what you're reading fully with reading in English and going to English sources to get the understanding. If you're reading the Bible, you got to go to the Hebrew. You got to the Hebrew sources to get the real meaning and understanding of what it's saying. And like if it was written in Greek, in so-called New Testament, you got to go to the Greek to get the real meaning and understanding of what these words are saying. And that's why, by the grace of the Most High, we understand it through the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and these churches don't. All right. And matter of fact, I'm going to show you that in Ecclesiasticus chapter 1. And I'm going to go like midway. Let me see. And it says, give me a second. For the same thing, let me read this. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. So he's saying the Bible don't have the original force or meaning to it, full meaning or understanding to it, written in a different language. Then it goes on to say, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself in the prophets and the rest of the book have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So when you go back to the original language to look this thing up, you'll understand it. But these churches and people are not doing that. That's why they don't understand this word. That's why they think an actual angel, the heavenly host, and the demon, the demonic spirit Satan was cast down into the earth, when it wasn't talking about that. You know, and said that the angels, the Most High angels, lost their first state and put into the chains of darkness. They actually think it was talking about the heavenly host, but it wasn't. It was talking about us, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, cast down and put into this fleshly prison. It means we lost our power, and now we're able to sin. When we had our power and our beauty, we wasn't sinning. All right, let's go to 2 Chronicles. Let me see. Matter of fact, 2 Chronicles, and I'm going to end on this. I might end on this. Let me see. 2 Chronicles 12:2. Now, this is with Paul. You know, when Paul was called up, Paul had a vision, and he don't know if he was in body or out of body experience. He doesn't know. But he said he was called up into the third heavens. We're going to get into that right here. It says 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. This is to let you know that it's different levels into heaven, man. Because Paul said he was called up into the third heavens, which will go into the fourth dimension. And the first heavens is right here. The second heavens is outside of our Ben Adam belt. So it lets you know right in here, heaven has been into, for us, is rulership. That's why the Lord's Prayer said, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So our heaven is going to be on earth. Our rulership is going to be on earth. That's why he talks about taking us back into our promised land when he returned. 2 Corinthians 12:2. I knew a man in Hamashiach Yahushua above 14 years ago, whether in the body, I cannot tell. So he said he don't know if he was in the body or if it was an in the body experience or out of body experience. He said he can't tell. He says, or whether out of the body. I cannot tell. God knoweth. He said, only the Most High knoweth. Such things, such in one caught up to the third heavens. Verse 3, and I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. So when Paul was caught up into the third heavens, he heard some things. But like I said, it's not lawful for him to utter here on earth. So I'm going to read that again. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 2 Corinthians 12:1. It is not expedient for me, doubleless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of Yahweh. He says, verse 2, I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago, whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God know it. Such in one caught up to the third heavens. So it lets you know there's levels to this thing when it comes to heaven. And heaven is just rulership. And the fallen angels are you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the Hebrew Israelites, which are the angels on the right-hand side, and which are the sheep. And the goats are the angels on the left-hand side, are the other nations. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you in Revelations, let's get this last one. I'm going to show you in Revelations where they call the leaders of the church angels. And that'll be Revelations, I think Revelations 2 and 1. Or 2 and 2. Revelations, let's just go to Revelations. We can go to 2 and 8. 2 and 1. Revelations 2 and 1. It says, unto the angel of the church, and this is in red. This is in red. This is Yahweh Shah speaking. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus, write these things, said he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 candlesticks. Excuse me. Salakia. So Yahweh Shah said he is telling this to the angel of the church of Ephesus. And you can go down to verse 8, verse 18, and it's talking about the different angels of the church. And when you look this word up, this just means the messengers, the head of those churches. So he was talking to the people, whoever was in that church and living that style, or going against the word or keeping the word. These was the angels of the Most High. So he's calling men right here angels, and this is in red. This is Yahweh Shah doing that. And I'm gonna go. I got one more, and I'm gonna end. Let me see. What was this last one I got? Oh yeah, Revelations 19 and 9. Okay, and I end on this. Revelations 19 and 9, and it reads, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his armies. Okay, now that go with what we just read when it says Satan and his angels, or the dragon and his angels fought against Michael and the archangels. So that's what that was talking about. He says, verse 19 Revelations, and I saw the beast in the kings of the earth. So that was the kings of the earth will be the goats, the other nations,